yesterday? Where did we end up? Hello. My name is Shazz Barberg. I was just thinking on the way to the video right now. Is this thing on? Hello. Is this thing on? Hello. I was just thinking on the way to the camera right now. I was like, it'd be a good pickup line, as if instead of just hitting people with "this is my social security number," I was like, I am an escaped military experiment developed to be irresistible to the opposite sex. A weaponized gigolo, if you will. The jiganator. You can probably put some better words in there. But yeah, having numbers on your arm. Usually people, they don't really bring it up unless I bring it up. As tattoos go, it's not really tactful to ask people, because if you ask someone about their tattoo, everyone has asked them. But then again, that's why you get tattoos. People are going to ask you. But usually people, stuff like this, like vague or scary looking tattoos, people think it's like military. No one thinks military. They think prison, or they think Holocaust remembrance or something. But usually people don't bring it. Yeah, actually, chicks bring it up sometimes. What are those numbers on your arm? Is that your phone number? But yeah, sometimes I've hung around people for like a week or two, and then I bring it up. They're like, "Oh, I was going to ask you." Or sometimes after you talk to them a couple of days, they're like, "All right, what is it? We stopped on the real estate license. Cool." I'm like, it's my social security. But I think I'm going to go with that one. I am an escaped military experiment developed to be irresistibly attractive to the opposite sex. A weaponized gigolo. The jiganator. So, Shazz with R4L Showings. Should we do this, or should we continue the narrative I was doing, which was trying to walk my way to Thompson Street? Today is Thursday, December 20th. Thursday, the December 20th. It is 1:34. Shazz is continuing the narrative of his life, hoping that it will lead him to sanity or peace, or at least monetary compensation. My back is feeling better. Oh, I am going to get some ice. I'm going to do ice on this one. I iced it once today. The ice really headed off. Sometimes I look down or I look away because I feel uncomfortable just staring at myself. Because I'm staring. There's the camera. If I just stare at the camera, this would be awkward, wouldn't it? Just sort of flare my nostrils and stare at the camera. A caterpillar gently sleeps asleep. A caterpillar gently sits asleep atop my upper lip. And when my lips, they start to move, the caterpillar, he starts to groove. When stinky cheese comes into sight, he twitches left. He twitches right. Once I thought I saw a ghost, he jumped up on his tippy toe. When I forget to feed him lunch, my bottom lip, he starts to munch. And when I feed him chocolate chips, he grows to show how big he is. Well, everything brightened up. But yeah, so staring at myself, starting to become used to having Shazz as a friend. Shazz, what's going on? Talk to me, Shazz. So my back is feeling a lot better. Now it's just sore. I don't have full movement, but I could check this out. I could not do this before. Ready? We're going to try it. Whoa, watch it. Oh, you can bend down. Almost. I can almost bend down. I'm not really that flexible. This is pretty good for me. It's not like I could do much more than this before. I could get probably within a half a foot of the ground. But I couldn't even bend over. That right there is like, whoa. I could engage my lower back. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get some ice. Turns out that it is not going to be a 10-week recovery, or even maybe it's probably 2 weeks. But yeah, I'll do the swimming. I'll do the swimming for 2 weeks. Hopefully I won't lose that much strength. It's good anyways. You're doing like all this pushing, pulling, trying to get stronger. Time to do some cardio strength. Swimming's good for the arms. As guys, we just don't want to lose that arms and chest. I need my arms and chest. It's a girl's fault. having sex with a girl and like you're on top of her and she grabs onto you. What she grab onto? Your back, your arms. And the first time a girl tells you you have nice arms, oh, I like holding onto your arms. I don't know why all of the girls that I seem to get within my stories are mentally disabled with really bad accents. None of them can speak proper English. Shazz, I like holding on to your arms. This is actually relevant to the story. That girl told me that around Halloween. Let's walk my way from here to there. That was 178 Thompson. Ooh. Women expand your horizons of what is possible. Us men are so insecure. Sometimes we just need a girl to tell us, I think you're smart. I think you're creative and I like holding on to your arms. Oh shit, I'm not the reject my mother always told me I was. Too honest, Shazz, too honest. We are walking our way to vulnerability. Let's slow roll it. So you can imagine, yeah, a little hyper, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of weed, Shazz running his mouth. You know, that Tinder girl, we're on good terms. What was the last message she sent me? Maybe it's just like sometimes you meet someone, you act like you're familiar, and then like it takes a while for you guys to develop a banter and a friendship. But I think we're sweet. But we kind of like mutually. I'm not in a position in my life to fucking have one, even like a fuck buddy. I got to finish this project. I'm on something. But she said, I'd love to read anything you write. We were talking about Slab City, but she said she wants me to send her some of my writing. I'm like, oh, you know how to work your way to my heart. You just flatter me, flatter my art, and I'll love you forever. What I do today, I woke up. Right now it's 1:30. I woke up. I went down to the diner down the street. Sometimes I read there. What's the book? Right now I am reading the last book of the year, probably. It is in my Google Drive. It's a free book. You can find it online, the PDF. The good ones are freed from captivity for the benefit of all of humanity. The Art of Loving. I talk so much about sex and women and this and that. If I want to be a better lover, well, let's learn about how to be a better lover. The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm, who's a psychologist. What I really love about this is the intro is amazing. It's talking about how I'm recognizing a lot of anti-authoritarian thought. Now that I've actually read Anarchist History, a survey, I love surveys, and then now I got to dig into it deeper. I've only read surveys of economics, philosophy, but I have the people I want to dig into deeper. I think a couple philosophers and no real economists, but I've read a couple philosophers more in depth, most just like poetry, literature. But now if you want to become an expert, at least a journeyman in a subject, I think those are like the Shazz 3 levels of proficiency: a novice, journeyman, expert. Well, and then master. I don't know. Aristotle's Poetics talks about that. I think. I don't know. I know of stuff, and sometimes what I say is just out my ass. But if you want to get above a novice at something, you have to start digging into primary sources, historical context. What was that person's possible blind spots? No one's perfect, so what are some of the things they provably got wrong? What are some of the things that everyone agrees that they got right, but who are some of their detractors? Stuff like that. Round out your body of knowledge. So I'm going to do that with anarchism. I think over this year thinking and then the reading, the problem with the world is authoritarianism on the left and the right. And then I'm reading this book, and in the intro, Meridian Publishing or whatever, who put it out. No, is it Meridian? Who did this? Actually, Meridian was the anarchist book. Since I have a publishing company, I care about who publishes these books now. World Perspectives. World Perspectives is dedicated to the concept that man born out of a universe dedicated to the concept of man born out of a universe perceived through a fresh vision of reality. It's like, oh my gosh, back in the 50s, it's like I'm trying to do shit that's already been done before. And then so they talk about like the authoritarian nature of the left and the right, and how we need to liberate man's sacred brotherhood. And I'm reading in that after. This is what's really great about reading books at a timely point in your life. I was always big on that. Read stuff when I'm ready to read it. I have so many books I wanted to read that I haven't yet. I have, like, in my apartment I I had tons of books, a lot of books I hadn't read yet. The superficial political shit that I could deconstruct, like Jordan Peterson, Samantha Powers, Ben Rhodes. I ran through like 6 political autobiographies last December, just one after another, one a couple days, because I wasn't working. But we're going to walk our way to that. But those guys, those are fucking idiots who are lying and they're assholes, and I could just read their ego right away. They're not offering you any real substance. It's like arguing with a 5-year-old, only maybe a little bit better language. With Trump, it was actually like arguing with a 5-year-old. It was like a intellectual enema. I wrote a bunch of notes. Hopefully I saved them. I had this Word doc that was like 20,000 words of just me getting stoned, listening to audio tape, and then I'd be like sitting down, and even if I wasn't sitting down, I'd be laying down. I love smoking weed, and I love politics, and I love reading, so audiobooks are great because if you're paying attention, it's the same thing as reading, but now you have a chance to react more. So while I'm reading, a lot of times on the computer, I'll be like listening, and I'll be like typing. So I'm like listening and arguing with the author, high as fuck. So I'm entertaining myself too. We have enough Shazz stoniness for now. I'll probably have a stony blog in the future, but I slow down and give a little less fucks when I'm stoned. So amusing myself is as important as whatever task is at hand. The world just it's that fuck it. The whole world seems a lot less serious. But and that's what you carry back with you. Fucking lifelong stoners. We just fucking know how to take things as they come. That's either that or you get fucking paranoid. So when you smoke, the anxiousness, this and that, you just have to learn how to ride with it. It's like surfing. You learn how to stay on the board. And you just ride the fucking energy waves. All this shit started before you and it's going to be continuing after you. So you fit in or you fit out. And if you fucking wipe out, then it's hilarious. It is what it is. You're in a public place and you're high and you act stupid and you're just like, I'm fucked up right now, I'm sorry. Fucking nice and easy, says the stoner. Slow and steady. But, what was I going to say? Shazz is fucking burn off the initial ideas. Shit, 12 minutes. 12 minutes, Shazz. Come on. We have to finish this up. All right. Those videos are going to take a while. So we're going to do the videos the last half hour because we can't keep getting behind. And I'm going to wrap up. This is really good. The last couple of videos, this is why it's an organic process. I've walked my way from sleeping in the parks and sleeping in Central Park to that hostel where I got it with a British girl that's what it is. I left one out. So I didn't just stay in those hostels for a fucking year. That was fucking insane. I had the times where I would go to them and then I'd get these rooms. So one of the rooms I got, the first place I actually moved from the hostel, I remember this specifically. I went from there to the guy from Sacramento. He got a place out of those hostels, so I fucking left with them. Because by the time I got back there, that's when the Irish kid was staying there, and the Puerto Rican, and the weapons, and I was thinking, I brought up that Georgian kid who was a waiter. The reason why I brought him up is everyone's fucking doing heroin there, which I'd been around junkies, but just my naive Shazz, like, oh, everyone's just trying to come up, do the American dream like me, and fucking just rise through the ranks of capitalism. Nah, sometimes at the bottom, people are stuck just trying to not hurt, just feeding holes in their heart, addiction, shit like that. And if you don't have your eyes open, you're the naive, they're going to come up on you. And not that those guys would have come up on me, but like, they weren't my buddies either. They're fucking, we would hang around, but you got to have a little bit of a buffer. Like, yeah, we'll have beers, this and that, and then you cut the conversation short. That's why I would like wake up early and get back there late. People are hanging out, I'll hang out, but you have to know when to engage or disengage, especially if you're on your grind, or else you're going to become more like them, they're going to become more like you. And none of those motherfuckers were getting a real estate license and asking me for tips on how to sell. So if I hang around them too much, I'm going to be doing the drugs they're doing, or at least fucking hanging around, complaining how life is fucking shitty, like they're doing. So I remember that fucking Georgian kid was always like premature balding, like 29 or something, 28. Just fucking basically threadbare hair. But like, I could tell he was a good kid from a good family. He was talking to me about how he wanted to go back and he wasn't sure why he's here. So I couldn't figure it out. And I kept telling him, well, get a better job and do this and that. I told him I was a bar back. I had 3 jobs and then got my real estate license. Like, this is a city where if you hustle, you'll get rewarded. Just bust your ass, dude. Like, I believe it. I've seen it a lot. Life is hard, but for those of us who have a decent skill set, life shouldn't be as hard for everyone. People would tell me, they'd be like, oh, you made it. Anyone can make it. Nah, I think I'm above average in a lot of ways. You can't hold me as a standard or else we're going to fucking lose a lot of people on this earth. It's like if you line up fucking 10 people and have us fight to the death, I'm one of the last people who are going to fucking die. That's wrestling. We lined up the whole fucking wrestling room, and it was me and the heavyweight left. Yeah, pretty much. Fucking everyone else, like from I was 135, 140, but I get the 160, 180 pounders. That's why I was a captain. It's like you could be stronger than me, but like, just I couldn't take that fucking fat kid down. He's like 220 or something. He wasn't even that big, or 240. He was probably 240. But you shoot on him, he drops his weight on you, and you're fucking. It's a lot of energy to try to get out of the fat guy. You see, Khabib's a better wrestler than fucking what's his name? His captain on that team, but his captain is fucking DC is huge. He's a big boy. It takes a lot of effort to move around a lot of weight, and if the big guy is somewhat clever, they just use their weight to exhaust you, unless you can figure out some sort of leverage. Really, once you get down, that's what we always say too in wrestling. Everyone weighs the same once you're on the ground, but even then, that's how you wear people out. You keep your weight on top of them, and fucking wear them the fuck out. I just remember wrestling that fucking big kid. He was just a chubby kid. He was just big, and he wasn't even really. He was strong. Big people are strong because he carry around their whole weight all the time. I think he did well. I think he might have went to state his senior year. I didn't keep in touch. I don't keep in touch with people. Shazz is just fucking. I just graduated high school and took off. But he was out of all the people there. I think he developed the most. Him and someone else. Someone else came up to my parents. I don't know if I said this. Someone came up to my mom a year or two later. She was doing something because they have an insurance agency and they're around the city sometimes. And he was like, "Are you?" He remembered my parents from coming to a meet or something. They came to a couple meets. They weren't the most absentee parents. They were just busy. He was like, your son taught me a lot. He taught me everything I know, and this. He just gave him like some compliments about me, which you don't realize the people you touch in your life. He was another Mexican kid from the wrong side of the tracks. I don't think I finished that story. There's a lot of stories that, like, when I go back and watch these, I'll understand that last half of them. But I start these stories, and because I'm trying to get in so much stuff, but the other half is just in my head. I think I started a story about a Mexican kid who was from the wrong side of town, who people fronted with him. They went to his, he just told me this story at Papa John's. They went to his house and he fucking came out with a shotgun. He was just like, "I'm not going to be fucking bullied by like the fucking local gangs. You guys are going to fuck with me, then this is fucking how you're going to get responded to." And it's like everyone has the red line. It's like these kids, you grow up in those neighborhoods, you're just like, well, fucking, I just got to like take a stand earlier, or this is just going to happen. But this is a crazy kid. That's why I knew a guy in Puerto Rico like that. He was like, people don't mess with me because I'm crazy. But in order to get that reputation, he was a crazy kid. He was a fucking insane, so that's suicidal too. Being a loose cannon is a survival mechanism, but it means that sometimes you have to go off, or else people will think that the powder is wet and the cannon won't go off. So all these ways that men or human beings in general try to stay safe and survive. You know what bugs me? I was in the shower today and I was thinking, irrational violence portrayed in poverty, like poor people shown to be irrationally violent, really bugs me, because that takes away from all of our humanity, and that makes poor people look like we're just violent animals, and that's not true. There's always a reason. There's always a reason why violence happens. Very rarely does it just happen without a cause. So if you see violence, look at the inputs. But when people are just like, oh, they're poor, they're just animals, that's just asking for authority to come and save us from ourselves. But there's a natural expression of society. So yeah, that's what I started with, this art of love thing. They're talking about it too, the natural expression of society. And that is anarchism. That's what their theory is too. It's that all this fucking state and other shit might just be complicating things. Libertarianism. And who knows if we can get to there, or who knows if some anarchists believe, well, we're not ready yet, we have to educate ourselves. Some believe that it's a principle and idea that we work towards, but it's not a destination. Among the fucking idiots. Well, no. That's the nice thing about anarchism and Zen, is by their nature are anti-authoritarian. So the idiots who are like, we have to have a revolution, authoritarian revolution, that's not anarchism. So like the Zen idiots who are like, you have to fucking worship this dogma or this fucking belief. These are anti-authoritarian traditions. So by their nature, they should always be self-correcting. They might not lend themselves well to dogma because they're so libertarian that no one wants to follow each other or listen to each other. But if you're looking for the counter to too much control and coercion, then the traditions of freedom are probably that. That's America. America was supposed to be tapping into that. Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson, their writing approach to anarchism, that we have a natural expression of society beyond the conceptions of the state and its violence and coercion and blah, blah, blah. Stuff that makes sense. Doesn't mean you have to fucking throw a bomb at someone or anything like that. That's what Woodcock claims. That as soon as the anarchists started getting violent, that's what turned America off to them. But fucking, then why do we have such a strong libertarian tradition? It just got co-opted by the mainstream. Maybe fucking anarchism got subsumed by the dominant narratives, one of which is Republicans, and they claim the anarchistic tradition through the label of libertarianism. But if you look at Republicans as they practice, big government, this and that, they're just fucking rich people looking for excuses. But within the big tent of republicanism, there's a really strong libertarian tradition, which would agree with most of the anarchist left. And that's why when they talk about the horseshoe, political spectrum is a horseshoe. There's a far right over here, and then it goes around, and then there's a center and the centrist, and then there's a far left here, but the far right and the far left don't touch. How many motherfucking horseshoes do you see in nature? It's a motherfucking circle. The far right and the far left do touch. Why are you artificially dividing them? Fucking motherfucking horseshoe fucking ass. You can see circles, squares, triangles in nature. You don't see motherfucking horseshoes. Maybe. But shit touches in nature. You don't have artificial separations. Horseshoe. It's fucking, if that's not the most half-baked, self-serving explanation for some bullshit propaganda, dominant narrative, motherfucker, piece of shit, cunt ass, fucking, get all those cuss words out, Shazz. Get them out this year. 21. So there you go. I got the burning off the ego, so I could get back into the mind state. We have to walk our way we have to do these videos because I want to review these clients. But we're going to spend part of this video catching up because we're going to walk our way to fucking 13 Carmine, number 13, New York, 10014. Mail a postcard, do something. Fucking, but before we do that, we're going to do 15 minutes of this, 15 more minutes of this, and then we're going to do fucking 35 minutes of those videos. This is a video where I keep my word. The ice feels so good. I'm really proud that fucking my back is coming along. The ice headed off so much injury. 2-3 days and I could fucking bend over again. That's nuts. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't even sleep. I'd wake up and move in pain the first night. And I'm gonna do 2 weeks of swimming and then 2 weeks of fucking core exercises, planks and all that shit. So let me think. I was in the hostel. It was oh yeah, that's why I'm thinking of all these fucking tangents I have open. Just stick to the linear one, Shazz, and all the other ones will fit in. In the hostel, and then the Sacramento guy fucking got his own apartment because his Russian girl was coming. He stopped messing around with that Indian girl. Poor girl. She just needed a boyfriend. She was naive. I don't know. Some of those girls know what they're doing. She played naive, but she never gave it up. She was just totally in control the whole time. And also, I don't think my friend was trying to fuck her in the ass. That was another friend. My friend wasn't that. The Sacramento kid wasn't that aggressive. He really just wanted to have sex with her because he was horny. And then now his girlfriend's coming from Russia. He was like, all right, I need to stop this. I need to clean up. He wasn't going to do that all the way until she came. He was like, all right, she's coming. I need to get my head right. Stop messing around with this. He got an apartment with someone else, some French kid. A lot of French in Brooklyn. Going to business school. So I crashed on their couch. And then I was doing the roommate matching then. This is the winter of 2013. And, yeah, and then I find two guys. There's this building in Tribeca, the Independence Plaza. And a lot of brokers made a lot of money off that building. But this will happen in a market where something's a good deal. But then us brokers who go around finding good deals, and we exhaust it. And the management finds out. Well, they just look at their metrics. They're like, they don't want to rent stuff too fast. They want to rent stuff. But if it's renting too fast, they don't need to. But I would advise them to raise the price. No one knows what something is worth until the market dictates it. You have your ideas of what it's worth, but that's what I would tell clients. They're like, this is ridiculous. $2,000 for a 12 by 12 studio? If someone's willing to pay it, that's what it's worth. We can complain about the market or we can abide by it. It's an open market, 30,000 agents. Most of us are independent. I don't work for landlords. I just work for you guys. Value is established within an open market. We can complain about why it got this way, the gentrification. This is the smallest county in the United States. I'm going from the largest county in the United States, San Bernardino County I'm in right now, to the smallest, Manhattan County, or New York County. 2 miles by 8 miles maybe, Manhattan Island. Vieques is 4 miles by 20 miles. So Vieques has 10,000 people. Manhattan has about 10 million. Well, 10 million in the surrounding areas, 10 to 12 million. Maybe a couple million in Manhattan proper, but still. So that's a factor of like half as much land, or a quarter, since they're double each length, and then now you have square area. And fucking, like, was it 10,000 times 10 is 100, so times 100. So it's like 1/4 the area and 400 times the fucking people. So it's supply and demand, less than 1% vacancy. So this Independence Plaza, some brokers told me it was still a good deal then. Now it's not a good deal. I don't think so. They're greedy too, and the management they're okay. They don't pay us the fee. I did a couple where they pay us just because some companies like to do that even before the market got soft. Now the market's soft, a lot of landlords are paying us. But when the market's tight, landlords don't have to because they're getting enough applications. They're like, no, you guys pay the brokers to the clients. But then you get usually better rent. But now that the landlords have to pay us, the rents accommodate about a month fee, sometimes a little bit more. Some of these guys have to split a month. It might not be as good to be a broker right now. Kind of got out at just the right time. So 26 minutes. So yeah, these guys, Independence Plaza, I got a couple commissions from them because they were just they're like 4,500, 5,200, 2 bedrooms. But the good thing about them, the reason why they're a good deal, that's not that good. 4,500, 2 bedroom, even it's a full service building. They have a pool, they have a decent gym. But you could flex them. You could put up the wall in the living room, and you can have a decent sized 3rd bedroom, just about as big as the other bedrooms. And I had a wall guy. You get a wall guy. He can match the trim of the whole apartment. When he puts up the wall, you wouldn't even notice that wasn't done by the management. They didn't let you do it, but they turned the other way. They didn't say you couldn't. I made sure I talked to that was a cute girl in that office, but you can tell some of these women in New York, if there's a cute girl in a real estate office, she's been hit on by every sleazy broker and every decent broker. And she's probably been with a couple of them, or maybe not. I know my manager hit on her. One of the fucking brokerages I worked at, this little chop shop, I worked for like 4 or 5 in between. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, what's her name? Sherry maybe, or something. I don't think she's not working at that office anymore. Yeah, she was around my age, maybe a couple years older, mid-30s. But I noticed her, but like she was cute, but she kind of looked at me like I kind of like, if you look at a girl and she's like, you can just anticipate the PTSD. You're like, I'm not gonna be that dude. It's like trying to hit on a girl at Hooters. It's like there might be that girl at Hooters who like she doesn't mind being hit on because it increases her tips, or like the Starbucks girl. Like sometimes you can just tell that like this girl is cuter than average in this position, so she's been run through the ringer. And some of them, like Shaw, she gets hit on by almost everyone, but she has an outlook on life where unless it's super creepy, it just fuels her she's just super ego. Construction guys on the street flirting with her. She's like, oh, she loves it. You have to be pretty fucking creepy and scary to turn her off. Otherwise, she knows how to fucking judo manipulate like whatever fucking shit you're throwing at her. And like she had this Italian guy in her neighborhood a couple years ago who would fucking follow her in his car. He owned a couple buildings. He was a big guy. He started as an exterminating guy and then built himself up to be a real estate mogul, a mini mogul in part of Brooklyn. And he would fucking stop her on the street, get her in the car, talk to her, take her out to Peter Luger's, and she knew how to stiff arm him whenever he tried to fucking be a little bit too forward. She'd be like, I'm the fucking age of your daughter. Come on, we're friends. But as friends, he would fucking spoil the shit out of her. And she has a soft spot. Some of these women understand that male energy. They're mostly harmless, and these males, that's mostly what they want. These older dudes fucking could maybe even barely get it up. They don't want the insecurity of having to fuck one of these young girls. They just want the attention of like, they want the pursuit. Most of these older lecherous men just like flattering the young girls and want the pursuit. They're not really. And then you have the old gigolos who will actually get down. These are all the dances that I've seen between men and women. Some of them are harmless. Most of them are harmless. It's when they get predatory and don't respect boundaries and this and that. But yeah, so that Independence Plaza, I kind of like, there was this like resting bitchy face that this lady had that I was like, I'm not even going to fucking, attempt to do anything but be professional with this girl unless she shows me any indication otherwise. But it's a testament to how cute she was that I even like noticed her. Usually I'm just, there's a lot of beautiful people in New York and just going through the motions. And then like sometimes someone's just stunning enough that you stop. It's just New York City. There's this girl, I was at the coffee shop this whole last year, and I would just write every morning. Like this morning I went to the diner to read. I like to go to public places sometimes and just read in a public place. There's this diner down the street. She fucking puts a coffee right in front of me right as soon as I sit down. I love routines, and I just leave a 5 on my way out. You don't have to talk much. They can talk to me if they want, but I'm just there to work. I'd be in this coffee shop in New York, and this girl will walk down the street right about 9 to 10 a.m., 9 to 9:30. There was a really tight schedule. She must have worked around the corner. And maybe like 1,000 people or more would walk by. It's a village. Everyone's walking by. I saw, I think, Willem Dafoe walk by once. Pretty sure it was him. He walked by twice. And then stopped right in front of me as if he wanted me to make sure that was him, holding a fucking Nespresso bag. I want to ask him someday if I meet Willem Dafoe. Dude, he won't fucking remember. But this girl, out of everyone who walked down the street, I remember her walk. Like, that's every now and then in New York, you'll have one of those where, like, you're so desensitized because there's so many people, but then there's just that one that triggers whatever your fucking biases are or something. But just her style or her walk or something, or of course, like, I fucking saw her from the back, but, like, she was, like, I would notice when she walked down the street. I kind of, like, wait for, like, 9 to 9:30. I'd be like, I wonder if she's going to come by. And those types of things. It's like, never, I'm not going to fucking, I'm not that thirsty. Run out of the fucking coffee shop, run down. Excuse me, you dropped something. Well, my heart. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? All those cheesy signs. What's a good Shazz line? What's a line that I've used? I don't. I just fucking notice things about people. What's up? What's going on? Girls compliment my shirts. I have cool shirts, earrings. Girl gives you a compliment. That's pretty much open invitation to have a conversation. Or you just fucking just say something. We're all living life. But that's the confidence and the casualness. If you're confident and casual, just fucking, we're both living life, so how are we living it? Talk about the weather. Don't do that. Fucking be original. Don't be a creep. Be interesting. Have a sense of humor. Enjoy life. That's what it is. How are you going to approach a woman if you don't enjoy life? What are you offering her? Fucking dull, bland, sad existence? First, you have to love life, and then you can invite someone else into your life to share it with you. Anyways, Shazz's theory on sexual relations. So I'm in Independence Plaza. Look at that. I'm talking about a story. Remember a cute girl. Sidetracked. I'm in. That's single Shazz for you. Fucking neck on a swivel. Even in my mind, like there's an image of a girl in my mind. Boom, swivel. Lonely Shazz. So I'm in Independence Plaza, and yeah, and then so I found 2 roommates, and I was like, you guys need a third, and I need this commission, so I'm about to jump in with you. You cool? One of them was a game developer. So all these people I met doing real estate was so fucking awesome. I'm like taking an audit of our economy by industry. So a lot of programmers, a lot of fucking developers, a lot of tech people. Silicon Alley, I would tell people Silicon Alley is a real thing. My clients prove it. I had people trying to innovate Facebook, fucking trying to compete against Facebook, people who worked for Facebook, fucking Salesforce, Yelp. You name the industry and possibly even the company. Definitely any fucking financial firm. I had those clients. Yeah, I probably covered all the industries. A lot of fashion. Fucking the sons of vice presidents to J.P. Morgan Chase. This one guy who fucking on his credit report shows that the U.S. Treasury was suing him for being a part of the fucking financial crisis. And the building wouldn't accept him. They were like, they wouldn't take his money. He was like, they won't take my money. He was one of the richest guys, one of my richest clients, a little princess daughter. And fucking, I was like, this building has very strict policies. They just, whatever the fuck, I didn't see your credit. I only know this from word of mouth. I was like, I didn't see your credit. They're not allowed to show it to me. Whoever pulls the credit, you're not allowed to share it technically. They just told me. She wasn't even allowing me to tell me that, really. She was just like, between you and me. So I shouldn't have told her. You learned that too. I did that a couple times. In business, Shazz cannot be as blabbermouth. I told this daughter, a lot of daughters. She really wanted an apartment. It wasn't that hard. It was the Upper East Side. And she had something on her credit. And I was like, no, it was income. She didn't have enough income. And then she's like, my dad makes more than enough. These people who, like, you learn to read people. You're like, no, or you learn to qualify people. No matter what you say, let's just qualify. Let's just be sure. If what you say is true, it shouldn't be an issue. But I am covering our blind spots for us, because these things are really annoying to unwind. We don't want. This is my go-to line. I'm learning the rules of business as practiced in a market by brokers representing people, how to do the consultative sale, learning how to set expectations. And you learn all this shit by running into that fucking tree. That's what you just every month. It's like, all right, don't do that, and that mistake. This one guy would put it really well. He was like, I don't look for checkered flags, I look for red flags. The best brokers are, when we talk, one broker to another, we're troubleshooting. And I don't even start the paperwork or even email until we've had a conversation and we visualize the path to the end. But if we haven't had a conversation to troubleshoot, then there's too many variables. That's when people say, I got money and I'm qualified. Nah, dude, this is the real world. We gotta have a conversation. I have to ask you a couple questions. If I can't talk to you for 5 minutes and actually make sure that the main bullshit isn't there, it's not worth my time. Friends used to always tell me, in New York, your time is money and everyone's short on both. It's like, we don't got the time to bullshit, dude. And that's what these guys don't understand. They're out there bullshitting, thinking that they're gonna paper their way to millions with the bullshit that comes out of their mouth. They're just running in circles. Those who are making money are being efficient with their time. It's the only way the average broker makes $40,000 in a year. I made close to 200. I don't know what I did this last year, but the last year I did it. I did 170 the year before last. I took like November, December off. So maybe I did like 160, 170 still. It was a good year though. But yeah, how did I make 4 times the average broker? I worked as hard as the average broker. But by the time I got my systems up and running, I didn't work 4 times as hard. But my systems were 4 times as efficient. They were probably more. They're probably 5 to 10 times more efficient. Because when I got the money and I would bounce. If I made 10 to 20 grand, if I hit my numbers within the first 2 weeks, I wasn't staying in New York. There was this one weekend I was just like, I think it was like $1,500, but I just took off to Fire Island. I was like, where can I go? I don't want to work this weekend. I'm good this month. And I looked on the map and I was like, oh, there's islands. Fire Island sounds cool. Was it Fire Island? It was Block Island. I did go to Fire Island, but that was a good story. I forgot about that Fire Island story. Yeah, I went to Block Island. I showed up on the island. I just drove up there. Showed up. It was one of their busiest weekends. It was the hottest weekend of the year, like July. It was like in the 90s all along the eastern seaboard. And I show up and people laughing at me. They're like, I got a scooter. I lived in Puerto Rico. I'm like, all right, if I got transportation, I could get a lay of the land. I could find a place to stay for the night. And then I'm calling around. I got a burger, had a place, and I got the local advertising sheet, the touristy shit. Start calling around. Just land in the island. I need a place. I'm willing to pay whatever. I was counting on like $200-300 for like a room. Because this is a touristy place and I'm last minute. And then everyone was like, dude, we're booked up. This is there's like there's like 3,000 people who live on that island. Block Island is basically the middle class neighbor to Martha's Vineyard. They're both islands off the coast of Massachusetts, but Block Island is more like families, vacation, this and that. Martha's Vineyard is that, but just the super rich and elite and shit. And then you have that other part where that bridge where that politician ditched that girl in the car or whatever, Ted Kennedy. But that's all Martha Vineyard, old money shit. But Block Island's like a step down from that. But it's like middle class. So these guys, this is their vacation, and this is like the busiest weekend. So I would literally call people and laugh. That's when I was like, after that happened a couple times, that's not an exaggeration. I call them, they're like, this is the busiest time. And then I'd be like, all right, can you give me any advice? And they're like, I don't know. Everyone's going to be telling you the same thing. So I called 10 or 12 to make sure that. And so I was sales mode. That's what I was making money in real estate. I was just like, Shazz is becoming more and more all right, I can do anything. So I was like, door to door. I was like, all right, we're going to do this is how I got a reservation for my girl at Lupa same day on her birthday, because I'm not responsible enough to plan for relationships and shit. So that's the thing, is you can be good at sales and still lack responsibility. I'm responsible with clients. I don't fuck up the money. I don't fuck up the client, because that's my reputation. But that's what salespeople are. We're sloppy with paperwork. Well, no, I'm good at paperwork because I learned that about my folks too. I could be a good secretary, but in my personal life, I should apply more of my business acumen that I've developed to my personal life. But I think that's a confidence thing. I wasn't too much into my path. I was just experiencing this hilarious way to live, which being broke all my life feels like, oh, now I have money. Let's do what people who have money do. So this was like one of those weekends. So I was like, let me go to places where people are spending money, and I want to get out of New York and get some nature. So I just knocked door to door, and the fucking first place I went to, bed and breakfast. The guy and I hit it off. He said, my mom's coming right now. I was just about to put her up. She's coming for the weekend, but I think I could get her in with me and my wife. They had like extra bed in the room or something. But he was like, I think I could put her with us. Let me ask her though. If she's okay with like doing that, yeah, I'll help you out. So fucking that's what it is. It's like I got an off-market place because being a broker, hustling connections, Shazz the earnest sale. I was just like, showed up last minute. I don't know anything about this island, but apparently I'm fucked. Can you help me out? The mom, the grandma, she made me cookies. We sat down, we talked. I talked to them about Puerto Rico, Vieques. I was like, this island reminds me a lot. Like, I understand these tourist economies. And then once I got it was like coming to sunset. I was like, I need to figure out where I'm crashing tonight, or else I don't want to leave this island. I mean, my worst case, I was just going to get drunk and pass out on a beach somewhere. But, yeah. And then they really loved me. We had a good little conversation, cookies, and then fucking they gave me some tips on where to go, and I went out that night. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good time. So, like we're going to do these videos, Shazz. You're just going to ramble the whole fucking video. Whatever. We're walking our way back. We're remembering all these memories. They're worth it. So Tribeca, that guy who was a game developer, he's a really cool guy. Some of these people I'd like to talk to again. This last time I jumped on Facebook, he went and he friended me again. So I know the window's open, but he moved back to Boston. He was there for a little bit. I think he married his girl. Just a stand-up guy. Some people you meet, they're just like, he was who he says he is. Fucking exactly opposite of the other roommate, which we'll talk about. Fucking was a foil. They both had cats. One roommate had 2 cats, the other roommate had 1 cat. So that's 3 fucking cats and 3 grown-ass men in an apartment we flexed, but whatever. So the game developer lived in the living room. We gave him the flex wall. He was only paying like $1,200. Me and the other guy were paying like $15 and $17 a piece. I was paying the most because these guys qualified for the apartment. My credit's still shit. So me being the broker, I put it together, and that's what I try to do too. If I'm jumping on something, I try to take the bigger burden just to keep everyone happy. I don't mind. I've never been like the type of person to try to nickel and dime. I'm like, I just want to, but then that also I think gives me the privilege to arrange shit and then also back out if I want. Just get someone else to pay what I was paying. Everyone should be happy. It's like, look at you guys, if it was more equitable, we'd be paying this, but I gave you a good deal. So don't bug me if in a couple weeks or a couple months I bounce, which is what I did. Where'd I go after that? After that, I went to, I'd have to think, because there were 2 things that I forgot before I moved to Thompson. After that, I went to, well, we'll think in a minute. Well, we're going to walk our way to there, so a couple things happened important in that Tribeca place. So the other roommate, not the game developer, who was fucking awesome, I couldn't say a bad thing about that dude. Just a solid fucking bro from Boston who fucking, some of these people from Boston are legit. They're just straight up. They fucking tell you how it is. But the other kid is fucking lawyer from Jersey, right? So there's that. He's cool. I like him. He's all into Reddit and shit, and he's all fucking kind of dorky, but he used to wrestle in high school, so we're both physically, but he's like, oh, but I got injured, this and that, and I'm like, whatever, fucking. He was probably a sandbagger is what you call it in the military. Someone who fucking said they did it, but they fucking got out because they were fucking, they just didn't like to push their body or whatever. But they claim injury, this or that. I don't know. All on my back. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But his character revealed itself, so he's a talker. He did fucking, he did the Glass-Steagall financial oversight type shit. These banks have to hire someone as a salary position on the inside in order to open up tickets and handle fucking like investigating into terrorism and fraud or some shit. I don't know the specifics, but he was a lawyer who was in banking and also had some sort of clearances in order to investigate fucking international shit. But he just said his job was bullshit pretty much. It took him like 2 times to pass the bar, so I know he's not stupid though. He just seems like intellectually and morally lazy. And I have more evidence of that later on. So I'm living with these guys. I got out of the hostel. And this is really interesting. I'm making money for the first time, and I'm living in a fucking doorman. So the doorman in Lower East Side wasn't the first one. This was the first one at Independence Plaza. And then I make enough money that I go and furnish my room with $2,000 worth of furniture from IKEA, which doesn't sound like much maybe to some people, but for someone who doesn't really buy new shit, never really made money, never really shopped anywhere other than thrift stores, for me to go to IKEA and just like pick stuff out from my room and furnish the whole room without really like worrying about money, just be like, wow, that was $2,000. But like, it was like, I got like the dark wood queen size bed, the large mirror behind the bed. I put candles all along the mirror. It was gonna be my like fuck palace. This was like young man Shazz, like, oh, this it's on. I got a fucking place to bring a girl back, and then I could see the fucking the Hudson through my window. We were on like the fucking 27th floor or some shit, maybe 17th, but we were high up there. Or like I could see it was beautiful because I stayed there for like 3 months through the winter, and the ice would, the Hudson sometimes freezes, not the whole thing, but you see the ice start walking its way to the middle of the Hudson. It's just cool just to watch the seasons pass. Like I would tell clients just stuff that I would like, that having a tree, having stuff outside your window, having windows first of all, and then watching the seasons pass in New York. This is such a concrete city. It's nice to be able to observe nature. I remember being in that room, moved in with the guys, gave them all my money. I paid deposit and rent. I didn't have any money. I'm a check-to-check person. I don't have any guarantee I'm going to make money again except for my hustle. And I have this system I'm developing, which we're going to eventually talk about the system I developed on how to make money. But I'm iterating it. I'm like, I don't care about making the most right now. I care about making it consistently. I'm turning a commission-only industry into a salary, like a job that's as reliable as a salary job. But that means that I really have to drill down my numbers. Every month I figure out my raw contacts, and then I'm turning those into sales, and I'm figuring out my metrics. How many of these raw contacts do I need to get to sales, and how can I improve this? Every month I'm trying to figure out how to improve. All right, I really need to qualify, and I start to develop my little rules. All right, get that fee agreement and exclusivity on the phone. Don't take people out unless you verbally agree that you're going to pay me a fee. You're not going to work with any other brokers. And then what am I doing in order to earn that? I'm sending them market analyses. But that means that like I talked to maybe 5 people on the phone that day. And so I sent out 5 market analyses. That means that 5 people I gave, at that time I wasn't even doing a spreadsheet. I was doing a Google map where I would find the apartments based on the criteria we discussed, and I'd send them a Google map with about 20 to 30 pins, and I give them the real addresses, and then they click on the pin, and then that links to the full listing description with pictures and addresses and everything. So like and that's why I was starting to develop, what value do I offer to my clients? That's why I've read startup books and business books and shit like that. Figure out what your competitive advantage is, your value proposition. And I was starting to realize, all right, they have access to market info that I do, Street Easy and stuff. Mine's more relevant. Our broker listing service is not client facing, and I'm starting to also develop understandings of the market and affiliates and how all this shit works. What's the relationship between me and other brokers? What's the relationship between me and our affiliates, who are our vendors, we're paying to advertise on them? What are people's motives? What are their motives? Our vendors don't give a fuck about us. They're just trying to get in between us and the client to make their money. So sometimes they have your best interest and they're offering value. Sometimes we're paying them money for nothing, and they're doing the same thing that a bad broker does to a client. Not increasing value, but just wasting their time. Other brokers the same way. Find the brokers, good ways to interact with brokers, and we both believe in doing business the right way, or the assholes that you might need, but you work around their incompetencies, and then people you just rather not work with. This isn't worth it. Just the same as you'd rather not work with that client. Some brokers I just fucking, just like that broker told me, she's like, I don't work with anyone else at your company anymore. We've done business before, so you're good. I had that told to me twice. They said I wouldn't work with anyone else at your company, and I was like, I try to save the company. I'm like, I'll talk to the boss. We're not all like that, but let me know your story. I'll bring it back. And then some of these main brokers, I would tell them, I'm like, that's why when I went to Oxford, I liked Oxford. Adam Mafuda over there, because he was young. He was my age. He graduated from Harvard. He was a smart guy, and he seemed to care a little bit more about who he hired. And if I thought there was a bad agent there, I would let him know, yo, I think so and so. I'm not saying they're bad, but like keep an eye on them. I care about your brand. I don't want. And I would tell him, I'm like, I've worked for these other companies where people tell me that they want to stop working with the brokers. So I like your brand, and that hasn't been told to me about your brand. So let's just keep it clean. But then that's also why I always knew I was going to start my own company, because I was like, fucking. I want to be able to take my principal stands. I want to know when I'm putting my brand on the line to stand for something I believe in. And I can actually tell someone to go fuck themselves. And I also know that, yeah, that's what it is. Just knowing that I'm clean from the top down. So we're going to end up this Tribeca story with this kid from Jersey who I was starting to question his character. So Miss Filet Mignon from Puerto Rico hits me up. She's like, what you doing? You in New York? You being big real estate man? I was like, yeah. And I owed her some money because she took us around. She had a little bit of money. She a princess from the Midwest, sitting on a little bit of cash. And so she was like, we had some bad blood. We had a good little romance, but it was all on her dime. She took us around Puerto Rico. We rented a car. We had great fucking memories, but I was being gigolo Shazz. It ain't really nice. So I was like, look it, I'm up right now. You want to come out and visit me? Fucking, I got a place in Tribeca, and I know she's money. She born and raised money. So it was like, I was like homeless Shaz, adventurous, and that's cool because I provided value because I was tour guide, and she's like was she Persian, Iranian, or something? But beautiful girl. They don't. Some women like Italians, like the hourglass and the hour. Goddamn, I like that line. But like the Persians the same way. It's like they're missing ribs. Like their waist is skinnier than fucking other women. It's just like that whole like Arabic belly dancer. It's like just like you can't fuck with an African's ass, like a black girl or something like that, or like Spanish too. And we put meat on in different places than y'all Europeans do. But then the Arabic girls, like this Persian girl, she just had like the big booty and this like she's missing ribs. She just like it was just her body was interesting. She was that's enough. I'm thirsty. But yeah, so I was like, come on out to Tribeca. I'll treat you right. I'm up now. I'll you a good time. So she this bitch comes out. She packed her car and drove out from Missouri, and she fucking came. She didn't come out to visit. She moved into my fucking place, and that's when I started to notice that she was more than simple. She was a little touched. She's cool, but like we have a story this year. We hooked back up this year. Not hook up. Just this time it was more like friends. I'm starting to be a little bit more velvet rope with my shit. Like, all right, you got to be this tall to enter type. Like, have a little bit more. When you're just trying to like get experience, that's one thing. But then you start to settle down and be like, all right, I should be more conscious about who I share my energy with. So we hung out this year, but she needs a friend right now. She's in trouble, like mentally and in her life. But back then she wasn't as bad. Now she's starting to detach from reality. That's what happens sometimes when you're just playing all your life and you never develop any character or real world skills. You could get kind of funny as you start getting over 30, your mid 30s. I think she's like 38 now. I met her, she was like just over 30. This is what, 6 years ago, 32, 31. It's fucking one of the prettiest girls I've ever seen in my life. Everyone. That's why God called her filet mignon. She's her whole life she was a princess. Everyone treated her like that. So she's Asian like Kim Kardashian with a lot less money. But she's got her own stories. She actually goes to the same fucking doctors. She has this whole beef with this doctor to the Kardashians. She's in LA right now, I think, last time I talked to her. She started fucking doing the LA thing and the fucking doctor thing, and I was like, don't touch her body. Please don't touch her body. And now she's starting to get like body dysmorphia shit, and like these people are related to the fucking Kardashians. It's like she's showing me shit like that. No, these are the fucking people in LA to fucking fix me. I'm like, you don't. She's buying into the fucking false narratives of like society and beauty, and she's lost all perspective. And she's going when you see these girls on Real Housewives of New York or LA, this is how they get that way. It's like, but she doesn't have that husband, or like she doesn't have a support group. And guys, like her last boyfriend was a fucking dick. That's what another thing. I'm like, I'm not. I understand, even if I didn't want to be predatory, like she doesn't need male sexual energy right now. She needs therapy. I'm right now lately. She's with some friends, and her friends agree. We all kind of have discussions about her. We're all like, she needs help. Like we all would be irresponsible if we don't. And then 5 more minutes. But anyway, so she comes out. We're gonna finish up. I could tell the story in 5 minutes. She comes out. She's still, and also I'm not as mature, so I'm still like, all right, yeah, we'll play. Not noticing that she's becoming more and more irresponsible as an adult. Yeah, but that's one of the signs. She shows up with a fucking car full of shit. I was like, yo, I said you could visit. I'm not about my roommates. I haven't asked my roommates if I can have a girlfriend move in. So my roommate, and she brings her cat. That was a big excuse. That's how we got rid of her. She stayed for like a month, or maybe 3-4 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. It wasn't a full month. But the roommate's like, yo, what are you doing? David at that time, not Shazz. And I'm like, I said she could visit. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. But she brought her cat. And so our excuse was like, yo, you got to go because of the cat. Because like we all feel bad for her. It's like we don't want to kick her out. But she has money. It's not like she doesn't have other place to go. But she had to like, it was like, move on to your next adventure. And so she went to like other friends. That's so she's just bouncing around life, figuring out what she wants. Sometimes that's a curse. Having enough money to bounce around, you never have to actually sit down and develop. But she, yeah, we were like, it's an extra cat, really. And she was like, you guys have 3 cats. And we were like, yeah, 3 was good, but 4 is just too many life forms in the apartment. 4 is 3, we could do 3. Just 4 was, she got so mad at me about that. She was like, I can't believe you're kicking me out because of my cat. I'm like, I don't even have a cat. It's not me, it's the roommates. I didn't want to. I felt bad, but it was just it was too much. But we had fun, and I hit her back some money. She got a little bit pissy about that. Oh, that's what I was gonna bring up. I remember sleeping on that floor in that room before I bought that furniture in IKEA, and just fucking sleeping on the floor with my coats to cover me, and no bedding, let alone bed, and shivering because I didn't ask the super because I was so fucking. You're insecure about money, you don't understand that this is a doorman building. The fucking get the doorman and the super to fix your shit. I didn't understand you had to weatherproof your air conditioner. It's an in-wall air conditioner, so the cold air is coming through the fucking air conditioner, and I'm shivering and not understanding why. And then that's what this girl, she was money girl. She was like, yo, fucking fix your air conditioner. Well, cold air is coming in. That sometimes when you're poor, you're very wary to ask people to do stuff, and yeah. And then she had that like born and raised like, nah, your room's cold, fix that shit. And so she was right. That's little shit that's also running with money. You just, not to be a dick, but sometimes you need to say shit. And us poor humble people don't say shit because we don't want to bug people. It's not bugging people, it's their job. And you don't got to be a dick like that. Then that's where you tip people, you respect them, you talk to them like they're human beings. But no, my fucking room shouldn't be cold. I pay money fucking not to have a cold room. So yeah, they take out the air conditioner, they put plastic in there, they stop the air from coming in, and then you have to remind them in the summer that they take it out or else your air conditioner won't work. So I just remember being in that fucking doorman building, paid all my money to get in there, pretending like this lawyer and this game developer are both fucking very normally socialized, went to college, really good degrees, really good jobs, both of them are making like 80 to 100, and I'm just fucking don't even have money for fucking furniture or like a blanket. Just shivering, just being like, I made it though, Shaz. I made it. I just need to make another paycheck. So that's what it was. And then I got into the business and started talking about why I was so confident. And so I made my paychecks. The next month, my fucking cycle came around. I never really failed. I had 1 0 month where September of one of those years, I made 0. And that's because I took that vacation with that British girl right before. And when I came back, I sent her off to fucking Britain, but like, it kind of fucked my month. I started to realize that you can't miss those first couple of days of the month. My cycle got thrown out of whack. But it's just, that's that mentality. Sometimes your back's against the wall, the fight or flight, and you just either figure it out or you fucking crash and burn. And so every month was another existential challenge to figure it out or crash and burn. And I did that for 5 or 6 years. Every single month. Never really saved too much. Just, it's another gauntlet. All right, I got to make it. I know it's out there. I know other agents are making it. Even if the market's slowing down, in the winter it's supposed to slow down. It's like, all right, then the fucking next dude his pie is gonna shrink even more because I'm gonna take it from him. I'm gonna work fucking 5 times as hard. If the market is twice as slow, I'm going to work 4 times as hard, and I'm still going to double my plate. You got to have that mentality if you want to fucking survive something like that. Whatever. I'll continue the story next. We're in Tribeca. We're with Cat Girl. And we're with fucking douchebag lawyer guy.